Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassie and this is That Grim Reader. In this video we're going to be doing my 24 in 2024 list, which if you don't know is just a list of the 24 books that I plan to read in 2024. Some of these are like most anticipated books that I'm dying to read, some are just stuff that I want to read for vlogs, some are some that I just feel like I should have read by now. I, in theory, plan to tell you why each book's on this list as we go along, but as we've learned, I often lose the point of a video partway through, so we'll just see what happens. There are obviously 24 books on this list. Yeah, that's all there is to it really. This video is coming out probably going to be February by the time I put it out. As I've mentioned in like the past 3 videos, I ended up with the flu, so did my son, so just nothing got achieved for a good week or so in this household. Yeah, it's been a rough time, but we're back. We're vaguely healthy. We'll cut out all the coughs and sniffles, it'll be great. That's it. So let's get cracking. First on the list is Dead 11 by Jimmy Juliano. We follow Willow and she finds the words Clifford Island written on her deceased son's bedroom floor. So she decides to go to this place to investigate what is occurring. And when she gets there, they appear to be stuck in the year 1994. They dress like they're from the 90s, they have technology from the 90s. And that's kind of all I know about it. It just sounds perfect. It's got a VHS on the cover. It's beautiful. This was really hard to get my hands on in England for some reason, but I am absolutely dying to read this. I am reading it for the vlog that I'm currently filming. It is the book I plan to read last because it's the one that I'm really hoping I'm going to absolutely love. Probably putting a bit too much pressure on it at this point because I've been building it up for several weeks now, but yeah, I think it's a horror. It is a horror. It was nominated for the horror category in the Goodreads Choice Awards. It's a horror. And I'm just really excited to read it. It sounds so fun. I've not heard the most amazing things about it, but I'm just hoping it's a fun time. We'll see. Then we have The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels by Janice Hallett. In this it's a mixed media murder mystery book, and we follow, I don't know who we follow to be honest, but the Alberton Angels are this kind of cult who, however many years ago, convinced this pregnant teenage girl that her unborn son was the Antichrist and they were gonna get her to end its life, but she came to her senses and called the police just in time. And then we're in the book, we're 18 years in the future, and we're following this journalist or author who is writing a book about the Alberton Angels, and the baby that was born that they thought was the Antichrist has now turned 18, so she wants to track down the kid and get them involved, I think. Yeah, she's a true crime author, and this other rival author is also trying to write a book on the same situation, so they have to team up and go through all of the old information to try and crack the case and see what's going on. I read The Appeal by Janice Hallett and really enjoyed it. Just realised, well, there's 2 books by this author on this list, but oh well, it's too late now. Anyway, yeah, read The Appeal, loved it, and can't wait to read more. And I bought this full price, hardback full price, and still haven't read it, which is ridiculous, so I need to get to it soon. Then we have The Daughter of Dr Maro by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is, I think, kind of a telling of the island of Dr Maro, which I haven't even read. In this we follow his daughter, and this is another book that I bought the hardback full price. I bought it signed. I don't even know why I bought it because it's not really my kind of thing, but yeah, I actually don't know really what the plot of the book is. I just know it's set on the island on this fancy estate and it's beautiful. Haven't really heard anyone talk about this. I hear people talk about the author's other books, but this one never really seems to get a mention, so I'm interested. It might be something that's not for me, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Hopefully I'll get to it this year, but out of everything on this list, this is one of the ones that's the least likely to actually come to fruition. But we'll see. Then we have The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I think this is based on a thing that actually happened, because I feel like I've heard some people be unhappy with the fact that it's a fictionalized version of like a real event. The back just says, a teenage girl is held captive and brutally tortured by neighbourhood children. Based on a true story, this shocking novel reveals the depravity of which we're all capable. That's all it says, that's all I know. I think this is like an extreme horror book, which is something I've never really tried, and I'm interested in giving it a go. So that's why it's on this list, because I want to dip my toe in, try something new. I don't know if this is a good extreme horror. I feel like it's kind of old. Yeah, 1989, it's as old as I am. Giving away my age there, but you know. This could have been... I wanted to do a vlog based on books written, published in the year I was born, and I could not find anything that seemed even vaguely interesting. And now, just accidentally, very interesting looking, can't tell, there's a very interesting looking stain on my copy, that's really appealing. Then we have Prosopagnosia by Sonia Hernandez, translated by Samuel Rutter. This is a tiny little novella. I still don't entirely know what this one's about either. I just know we're following 15-year-old Berta. I'll just read it to you. 15-year-old Berta says that beautiful things aren't made for her. She isn't destined to have them. The only things she deserves are ugly. It's why her main activity when she's not at school is playing the prosopagnosia game, standing in front of the mirror and holding her breath until she can no longer recognise her own face. Berta's mother is in her 40s. By her own estimation, she is at least 20 kilos overweight, and her husband has just left her. Her whole life she has felt a keen sense of being very near to the end of things. She used to be a cultural critic for a regional newspaper. Now she feels it is her responsibility to make her and her daughter's lives as happy as possible. A man who claims to be the famous Mexican artist Vincent Rojo becomes entangled in their lives when he sees Berta faint at school and offers her the gift of a painting. This sets in motion an uncanny game of assumed and ignored identities where limits of what one wants and what one can achieve become blurred. I still don't know what it's about. I've read that so many times. I've seen a couple of people on TikTok talk about this. I have not seen a single person on BookTube talk about it. Like, people probably have, but I personally haven't seen it. I love the cover. It's beautiful. I've heard that it's a weird book, and I love a weird book, so it's on the list. I bought it a little while ago and still haven't got around to it, so I'm hoping putting it on this list will help me prioritise it. It absolutely won't, because I only read half of my 23 in 2023, but don't worry about it. Then we have Undoctored by Adam Kay. This is the only non-fiction on my list. Don't read too much non-fiction. Well, like 10% of my reading last year was non-fiction, so it's a fair amount, I guess. The story of a medic who ran out of patience. Patience. Get it? It's a joke. It's funny. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, as you would guess from the title, I think this is about once Adam Kay decided he wasn't going to be a doctor anymore. It was about the process of him becoming undoctored. I really enjoyed This Is Going to Hurt and Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas, so I assume I'm going to have a good time with this one. He's a witty guy, it's funny, it's heartwarming. I assume this is going to be more of the same, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Bish bash bosh. Then we have The Enigma of Room 622 by Joel Dicker. This is a gigantic, it doesn't look that big, but it's a heavy, big, chunky boy. In this book, there's a hotel in Switzerland somewhere. It does tell you the name, but I can't remember. And that hotel doesn't have a room 622. And this guy, who I think is also called Joel Dicker, which is very confusing, finds that interesting and decides to investigate into why there's no room 622. So yeah, he goes to stay in this hotel. He's a big literary star, and he discovers, or someone discovers, that the reason there's no room 622 is because there's an unsolved murder, and I think they're trying to solve the murder, I guess. Yeah, I'm interested. I love a thriller. I love a mystery. I like the cover. I bought this over a year ago and still haven't cracked the spine, so I really need to get to it. As I said in my reading goals, I'm trying to read bigger books. I mean, I showed you a novella a few minutes ago. I obviously am not giving up on that because I love novellas, but I just want to get my teeth into like a big, chunky book. So hopefully I will enjoy this. Hopefully I won't be overwhelmed. I might get the audiobook to help me through it, because that is a long time to sit and read a book with my eyeballs. And that's something I don't excel at these days. It's very sad. Then we have Night's Edge by Liz Kerin. In this we follow Mia. We follow Mia, whose mum is a vampire. So, and they've got to keep that secret because vampires get sort of taken away and never come back. So Mia's entirely responsible for her mum's well-being, upkeep, supply of blood, everything, and for looking after herself, basically, I guess. I think her mum works nights so that she can go out. I could be lying about that. This is a book, I think I've read the opening line to you before, so I'm not going to do that again, but so I heard someone, I think it was Katie Coulson, read it. No, it wasn't. I said that last time, and it was actually whatever Gabby's sister's called. Rachel? Gabby reads. Her sister Rachel did a chapter tag with her, and she read the first line of the book. And then Katie Coulson watched that video and referenced it in her video. There we go. Figured it out. Anyway, yeah, it's a great first line. And it hooked me. I bought the book immediately. And that was like 2 months ago and I still haven't read it. But yeah, I'm so into this like toxic mother-daughter relationship thing. It's going to be great, and I can tell I'm going to love this. It's at least a 4-star. It's got to be. Probably a 5. I really hope I'm going to love this. We'll see. Then we have Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This one you may recognise from my 23 and 2023 video. Obviously I didn't read it. I don't know why. I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love this book. It sounds perfect. We follow these two women who were best friends They were best friends at a boarding school that they went to, but then they've not really spoken since they moved on with their lives. One of them receives a letter or a phone call or whatever from the other saying, hey, my stepkids are moving in with me. Can you come and be like their nanny? Also, they spontaneously combust when they get agitated, so good luck with that. And it's just about that, really. I was drawn in by the spontaneously combusting children, but I think it's just going to be a nice found family, just lovely cozy vibe kind of, really, just with kids that explode sometimes. So I think I'm going to love it. It's not even that big. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. Pretty much everyone that I've seen talk about this has loved it, so I want to join in. I want to love it too. Then we have Mary by Nat Cassidy. This is a sort of, we follow a woman going through menopause. She moves back home to her small town, as one does in a horror novel or a thriller, and she starts doing free writing stuff. She's hearing voices in her head and all sorts. So and she realizes that she's hearing the voice or doing the free writing of this infamous serial killer, and then the killings start up again. And is it Mary? What's going on? We don't know. I love the cover, love the creepy hand. Mentioned all of this before, I think, but I just do. It's described as genuinely scary. heartfelt and heartbreaking. All of those things. I want all of that. I'm gonna love this book. I think this is for, well it is, this is for a reading vlog that I've got planned for some point in the year. No idea when I'll get around to it, because I originally had this, the vlog that I am working on already, that I've mentioned 100 times, and another vlog all planned for January. And I've not even finished one of them, so let's not try and plan 3 vlogs in a month. That's a good tip for you fellow newbies out there, because it's a bad idea. But I'll get to it at some point. Even if I don't do the vlog, I'm dying to read that book. Then we have Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This is another, doesn't look that, there you go, mixed media book. Didn't even look that mixed media in that little flick through that I showed you, but it is. We follow, who do we follow? We follow Scott McGrath. He's a journalist and he's investigating the death of this teenage girl called Ashley Cordova. Her body's been found in a warehouse. It's been ruled as suicide, but Scott's like, nah, I don't think that's a suicide. I'm going to figure out what's going on. But also, Scott has something to do with this Cordova family, because it says on the back, the last time McGrath got too close to the Cordova dynasty, he lost his marriage and his career. This time he could lose his mind. So, yeah, I've heard really good things about this. As I've said, I love a mixed media book. I love a mystery, love a thriller. I think I'm going to love it. I don't know why I haven't read it already. I bought it so long ago. Bought it for £1 from a charity shop. The sticker's from 2022, so it's 2 years old at least. Yeah, really want to read this. It sounds so good. Then we have The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. I'm trying to read 1 or 2 Agatha Christie books every year, and this is the next one that's on my hit list, I think. Is that Rupert Grint? Is that Rupert Grint? But they did an adaptation of The ABC Murders with Rupert Grint in it. Didn't even know. Okay, anyway, I think this is, it's not like, I know it is. Is this a Poirot book? I didn't think this was a Poirot book, but maybe it is. Anyway, we follow, I don't know who we follow, but in the premise of the book is that people are being killed according to the alphabet. So it gives examples. Mrs. Asher in Andover, Betty Barnard in Bexhill, Sir Carmichael Clark in Churston. So people's names and the place that they live are all alphabetical, and they're going through the alphabet, and I guess they're going to try and solve what's going on before they get to Z. What happens when they get to Z? Are they going to start again? I'm interested. I assume we don't get that far, but the premise sounds okay. I don't think this is necessarily one of the most popular in terms of rating, but I think it's one of the most like highly read, like it's up there with some of the classics. So oh, there you go, now a BBC programme tells me. I'm definitely going to watch that when I've read this. Yeah, that's it. Then we have Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison. This is a set of 4 short stories. They're sort of horror-ish, feminine tales. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it. I did see one YouTuber whose name I cannot currently remember, I'm so sorry, mention it. But, yeah. 4 dark tales, friendship, heartbreak, hauntings, and the occasional blood sacrifice. It just sounds really fun. An intimate look at the 2 real horrors of womanhood in America. Ooh, Delilah S. Dawson blurbed it. Explores uniquely feminine horrors that will stick to your bones forever. That's what Delilah S. Dawson said, and I loved Bloom by her, so I trust her. I'm dying to read this. This is one that I will be reading very soon, just because whenever I sort of don't know what I'm in the mood for, this sort of jumps out. But I just, at the minute, I feel like I have other stuff that I need to read, so this is getting put on the back burner a little bit. But I'm going to get around to it. I'm going to read it. It's going to be great. Then we have Fish Swimming in Dappled Sunlight by Riku Onda. In this we follow a couple who have broken up because their relationship has just fallen apart after they went on this trek and someone died. Their guide that was taking them on the trek died. Each one believes that the other one killed them somehow. And they decide to spend one last night together talking and figure out what happened, I guess. Like, I think it's kind of slow burn, but it sounds really interesting. I haven't heard too many people talk about this, but it's been on my radar for a while, and I managed to find a cheap copy, so I obviously had to buy it. And apparently it's going to keep the reader in suspense to the very end. I want to be in suspense. I'm sold. Sounds fun. Then we have Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Everyone knows what Wicked is, right? Here's a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, where Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West or East, one of them. I don't know which one she is. I think she's the Wicked Witch of the West, but she's the good guy. And, you know, we get to hear her backstory, what goes on. I did read this once, many, many years ago, like 15, 20 years ago. And I have, of course, seen the musical because why not? But I really just want to read this before the film comes out this year. And hope it's as fun as I remember. I've heard some critiques saying really weird stuff happens in this that I don't have any memory of, but I'm interested. It should be fun. It's pretty chunky, but I think I'll have a good time with it. Then we have 19 Claws and a Blackbird by Agustina Bastorica, the author of Tender is the Flesh, favourite book of last year, short story collection, dying to read it. What more do I even need to say? This is the perfect book for me. I can't wait to read it. I finally had someone recently tell me that it's actually good, because prior to that, everyone else I'd heard mentioned it just said it was really disappointing or boring or just generally bad, and I was so worried. But now I'm back on team positive. I think I'm going to love it. I think it's going to be great. I cannot wait to read it. Then, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Am I going to read this year? I wouldn't bet on it, but I would really like to. As far as classics go, it's a small one. It can't be too bad, surely. I read A Christmas Carol last year. That was admittedly like half or a third of the length of this, but still, it's a start. I was originally planning to read it before Lisa Frankenstein comes out this month, soon, but that's not going to happen. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll still read it anyway. We shall see. Oh, Frankenstein, we follow Dr. Frankenstein, and he makes a monster out of various body parts. Apparently it was written when Mary Shelley was only 18. That's insane. Yeah, so he builds this person out of body parts, dead people body parts, and, you know, he goes around causing, the monster goes around causing chaos, unsurprisingly. So yeah, I'm interested in it. Like, everyone knows the general story of Frankenstein. I'm sure I've seen some retellings of it, but I'm going to read it someday. Hopefully it'll be this year, but we'll see. Then we have The Dinner by Herman Koch. In this, we follow two couples in Amsterdam having a dinner together. Each of the couples has a son, and those two sons committed some sort of heinous crime on CCTV, and they're trying to figure out what to do about it. I think it's literally just these families talking around the dinner table for the whole book, and that sounds like so amazingly mundane, but like it's not going to be, is it? It just, I don't know, it sounds like it's going to be right on my street. I think I've heard a few people talk about this. I don't think it's particularly popular at the moment. I think it might be a little bit older. Oh, 2013 to Lisa. Happy birthday. Lots of love from Linda and George. Lisa, how dare you give this gift away? It's just rude. It's another book that I bought for £1 in a charity shop. Thanks to Lisa and her ungratefulness. Or maybe she just read it and then wanted to pass it on. The book originally came out in 2012. The paperback came out in 2013 and Lisa got it in 2013. Happy birthday, Lisa. Yeah, this sounds great. I really want to read it. Then we have The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. This is what the film Hellraiser is set based on, which I loved. I loved those films growing up. I watched them quite a lot. The back doesn't really tell me anything. Frank Cotton's insatiable appetite for the dark pleasures of pain led him to the puzzle of Le Marchand's box, and from there to a death only a sick-minded soul could invent. But his brother's love-crazed wife Julia has discovered a way to bring Frank back. But the price will be bloody and terrible, and there will certainly be hell to pay. Hell. But yeah, obviously Pinhead. I mean, that's not my Pinhead, but Pinhead is an icon. Definitely going to watch the films, at least the first two. Don't know how many there are nowadays. When I watch this, it's going to be a fun day. It's a tiny little novella. Gonna fly by, read it in one sitting. It's gonna be amazing. Cannot wait. Then we have Penance by Eliza Clark. In this, a 16-year-old girl was killed, murdered, and then 10 years later, as always, a journalist is investigating. Oh cool, the book feels like it's like textured. Like someone's actually scripted. That's so cool. Love it. Anyway, so I think the journalist speaks to the friends and the family and everyone that was sort of around and just trying to figure out what's true and what's not, basically. A dizzying feat of investigative mastery, Corelli's book is built on hours of interviews with witnesses and family members, painstaking historical research and, most notably, correspondence with the killers themselves. The result is a riveting snapshot of lives rocked by tragedy and a town left in turmoil. The only question is how much of this story is true. Yeah, so maybe her two friends killed her? I don't know, honestly. And I don't really want to know. But I adored Boy Parts. It was so good. So I'm willing to read anything that Eliza Clark writes. For now, anyway. Like, obviously, if I hate this, that might change my opinion a little bit. But I don't think I'm going to hate it. I think it's going to be good. Then we have Womb by Duncan Ralston. This is another extreme horror book. This is one of the ones I've heard a fair few people mention, generally. This guy, his mum died in this motel, in a room in this motel, and he goes back to try and see what's going on, as one does. Also says something about a plus-size prostitute being there too, sure. And yeah, like I said, extreme horror, so I assume it's just going to get gross and brutal. But I'm down to give it a try. It could be a fun time. We'll see. Hoping to read this fairly soon. But who knows? Oh, it literally says an extreme horror novel, like in big letters at the bottom. Trust me when I say this is messed up. That's a quote by Matt Shaw, author of Sick Bastards. Oh, well, Matt Shaw, I trust your judgment. Yeah, I'm just really interested to try it. Then we have A Man Called Otto by Frederick Backman. This, we follow a man called Otto. I don't know if we're reading from his perspective, but he's a grumpy old man, and I think some of his like younger neighbours, a couple, befriends him maybe and sort of takes him in. It's like a little grandfather figure. I think that could be wrong, but I just know literally anyone who's read this book has loved it and cried. So, and it's been made into that movie with Tom Hanks where they changed it to A Man Called Otto for whatever reason, which, why, but okay. But yeah, I need to read this book. Everyone else has read it. I feel really left out. I don't see many people talk about it now, but people were talking about it for the longest time. And it just sounds lovely. I read, and every morning the way home gets longer and longer, or whatever it's called. I really enjoyed that one. This guy just has a way of writing that sort of cuts right to your very core. So I think this is going to be a bit of a tearjerker. Warm, funny and unbearably moving, according to the Daily Mail. Good lord. Did you not really get anything? Yeah, no, People magazine, brilliant. I mean, I assume it's People magazine, it just says People. It's just a quote from People. Love it. But yeah, really dying to read that. Then we have the second Janice Hallett book that I didn't realise I'd put on the list, but it's too late now, which is A Christmas Appeal. This one I was supposed to read in 2023. I bought it brand new, full price. Was adamant I was going to read it, was going to do a whole solve along the mystery with me vlog. Well, not even kind of a vlog, whatever, video. But I didn't think about the fact that moving house and having children and Christmas and everything, you know, that takes time, that takes effort. No, I wasn't going to have time to spend an entire day doing this. Or maybe even longer. I don't know how long that video would take to make. So it didn't happen. I'm hoping to do it this year. Will anyone care when it's a year out of date? But I don't know. Either way, I'm definitely going to read it because it's a festive book with murder in it. Santa gets murdered. Come on, we need to read this. We need to enjoy it. I need to know who killed Santa. So yes, we'll definitely read that this year, but obviously not until sort of the very end. I didn't tell you what it's about. We follow the same characters as in The Appeal. And it's in this one, the Christmas panto Santa guy winds up dead. And you've got to figure out who did it and why. That's it. That's all you need to know. Finally. Whew, I feel like I have been talking for a long time. Finally, we have Slewfoot by Brom. This has been on my TBR for at least 2 Halloweens, probably longer. I'm not going to wait until Halloween to read this again because I won't read it at Halloween. I'll find an excuse not to. I'm just going to read it whenever the fancy takes me. Might read it right now. I'm not going to read it right now. I'm not in the mood. In this, we follow Agatha. Oh, we've got like a sexy goat boy on the back. So we follow Agatha. Her husband just died and she sort of wants to keep living and working on her little farm or plot of land or whatever. But she's a woman. She can't do that. What? Be self-sufficient? Mad. It's set in like Puritan times, like 1666 I think it said. And she somehow meets Slewfoot, this demon-y, devil-y kind of fella, and they sort of help each other out, I think. I don't entirely know. The cover is beautiful. Look at her little goat legs. What a beauty. I love it. It might not be my thing. I might hate it. But I really want to give it a try because, again, it's something that people were raving about for a while. And I just wanted to be part of the conversation. I know Brom's written other books. I do keep nearly buying Krampus every Christmas, but I'm going to read this first and see if just the writing style and the general vibes work for me. Because I've seen a lot of people not be that into Krampus. So, yeah. Hoping to give this a shot this year. We'll see. I'll try my best. And that is it. That is my 24 books that I plan to read in 2024. Have you read any of these books? Have I made good choices by putting these on my list? Am I going to regret it when I inevitably don't read them all in the next 11 months? Let me know what you think. Have you done a 24 and 2024 list? What's your favourite things on there? What do you think you will and won't read? Any of the things, just talk to me. Let's have a chat. It'll be great. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for watching. Even if you didn't, thanks anyway. Even if you're not here to hear it. I'm going to go and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.